Walk around 6 o'clock. Jump off the bed and hit my knees. I had to give the Lord his praise for letting me wake up today.
Jumped in the ride and hit the spot. Say what's up to all the G's. Today just might be the day. I gave to my change the way.
Continue rolling down the block. Get pulled over by the police. I tell you no, I'm not afraid. I know I'm protected by grace.
I had to come to a stop with all the drama in the street. Make me feel like I'm not safe, but all I can do is pray and keep your hope and keep your faith. You know we going back one day, but for now I'm gonna celebrate, cause he made me in his image.
And now it's back to 6 o'clock, and I ain't even had no sleep. But today was a lovely day. It's the love that you get. From 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock. From 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock. From 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Walk around 6 o'clock. Jump off the bed and hit my knees. I had to give the Lord his praise for letting me wake up today.
Jumped in the ride and hit the spot. Say what's up to all the G's. Today just might be the day. I gave to my change the way.
Continue rolling down the block. Get pulled over by the police. I tell you no, I'm not afraid. I know I'm protected by grace.
I had to come to a stop with all the drama in the street. Make me feel like I'm not safe, but all I can do is pray and keep your hope and keep your faith. You know we going back one day, but for now I'm gonna celebrate, cause he made me in his image.
And now it's back to 6 o'clock, and I ain't even had no sleep. But today was a lovely day. It's the love that you get. From 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock. From 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock. From 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
One of the points that I like to stress on a lot is the historical aspect of the Bible, the Old and New Testament, as well as certain records that have been removed. A lot of times in Christianity, when being taught the Bible, you're not being taught the Bible from the historical aspect. We know that the Bible is history. We know that the things in the Bible are true. But one of the main things I want to focus on when it deals with the historical aspect is the fact that Israel as a nation divided. There was a split between the 12 tribes. All right, 12 tribes split up into the southern and the northern kingdom. You have 9.5 tribes that went with the northern kingdom, 2.5 tribes that went with the southern kingdom. The 9.5 tribes eventually went into captivity under the Assyrians. And after that, the book of Second Ezra lets us know that they left Assyria on one accord and went into another land. Then we know that the southern kingdom, which was the 2.5 tribes, went into captivity under the Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, the Greeks, and then the Romans. Each one of these kingdoms were represented by 4 beasts that was seen in the book of Daniel. The prophet Daniel, he saw 4 beasts rise up out of the waters. And each one of these beasts represented the kingdoms that would enslave the Israelites, or the southern kingdom. All right. You had Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. Daniel was alive during the Babylonian period and then the early part of the Medo-Persian period, I believe. But it was while under the Babylonian period that he saw this future, so to speak, for our people under these 4 kingdoms being enslaved. All right, and so with that being considered, the southern kingdom going into captivity under these 4 kingdoms, while under the Greek captivity, we know that our people were forced to give up their customs, give up their names, give up the worship of the Most High. And so a lot of people were forced, so to speak, to live as Greeks, to call themselves Greeks, to make themselves uncircumcised, that sort of thing. And so we know about that. We're going to revisit that. But we also know about the conspiracy of Psalms 83, the nations coming together and conspiring against our people to cause Israel to be no longer in remembrance. With these things in mind, I have a question, and that question is, are we, as so-called Black people, Negro people, scattered into the 4 corners of the earth, are we considered Gentiles today? Now, that's aside from us coming into the knowledge of who we really are. What I'm speaking of is in terms of being recognized in the nations. Are we considered Gentiles today by virtue of where we're born, the heritage and the customs that we're under, being in the land of our enemies, all of our birth records, our identifications, everything point to us being American, or wherever you're born. We have brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. We have brothers and sisters in other parts of Europe, all over the earth, like the Most High said. We know that based on the New Testament, our people who were born outside of Jerusalem and outside of Israel were considered Gentiles. A lot of them were considered Greeks. And we'll bring that information out. This might be a part 1, because I really want to deal with this question of, are we today considered Gentiles? I want to go through a few passages to kind of deal with this issue, because from my perspective and from what I've studied and from what we're going to bring out now, we as so-called Black people, Negro people, the true Israelites of the Bible, we are in fact Gentiles in this day and time by virtue of where we're born, by virtue of being separated from our heritage and our customs. We know that Gentile doesn't denote anything ethnically. It just denotes nations. So wherever you are as a so-called Black people, you are born in that region, you're recognized in that region, your citizenship is in that region. So therefore, by virtue of that, we are Gentiles. But let's go into some passages to sort of deal with this issue of if we're Gentiles or not in this day and time. This is Matthew chapter 8. We'll start at verse 5. It says, and when Yehoshua was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him and saying, Adonai, my servant lieth at home, sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Yehoshua said unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Adonai, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. All right, real quick, I want to address something. We see in this example right here, and even if we start at the beginning of this chapter and read down, we see that Yehoshua came out the mountain and many people followed him and they worshiped him, right? A leper came and worshiped him, saying, Adonai, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Yehoshua put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. Now, the thing that stands out to me is this leper came up to him, worshiped him, right? Saying, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. So he believed that he could be cleansed, all right, by Yehoshua. Yehoshua put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. All right. So now, this is not the same response that he gave the woman that we know about when he told her, it's not meet for me to give the children's bread unto the dogs. He didn't respond to this person in the same manner that he did the woman. He didn't say, I am not come but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know, he immediately responded and said, I will, be thou clean, and healed him. Then he told him, see thou tell no man, but go thy way, show thyself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto him. So we see that this was an actual Yehudi, a Jew, that he was doing this for by means of this verse 4 right here. This was the order of the priesthood. Once you were unclean of anything, you went to the priest. So this lets us know that this leper was more than likely an Israelite. All right, and so right here it says, and when Yehoshua was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him and saying, Adonai, my servant lieth at home, sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. All right, so this is a centurion beseeching him, the same way that this leper beseeched him, saying that his servant lieth at home, sick of the palsy, and he's grievously tormented. Let's look at Yehoshua's response. It says, and Yehoshua said unto him, I will come and heal him. Once again, no, I'm only come to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. No, I can't take what's given to the children and give it unto the dogs. None of that. Immediately his response was, I will come and heal him, the same way that he responded to this leper. All right. I will, be thou clean. Once he cleansed the leper, he told him not to go tell everybody, but go and fulfill the law of Moses. Right, bring your offering to the priest. He responded to this centurion the same way. He says, I will come and heal him. All right. A lot of people say that this centurion is the same centurion of Acts, the 10th chapter. All right. Cornelius. I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying it's not. It is, however, an interesting perspective, one worth taking a look into. But I'm more concerned about why he didn't respond to this centurion in the same way that he responded to the woman. All right. If this is in fact Cornelius, that's a discussion for another time. It's something to point out. It says, the centurion answered and said, Adonai, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, go, and he goeth, and to another, come, and he cometh. And to my servant, do this, and he doeth it. And when Yehoshua heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed, verily, I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. All right. So this centurion beseeched Yehoshua for healing on behalf of his servant. And Yehoshua immediately responded, I will come heal him. All right. The centurion, by faith, just told Yehoshua, just speak the word. And Yehoshua was impressed by his faith. But once again, the woman who came to him, who he told, I am not come but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, she approached him in the same manner. She gave him the same worship. And she ultimately ended up getting the results she wanted. But it's the response I'm concerned about within this context. If this centurion wasn't an Israelite, why didn't he test his faith or challenge him in the way that he challenged the woman who came to him? But he said, I will come heal him. Yehoshua said, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Now remember, the 9.5 tribes at this point during Yehoshua's time, they're not a people. The Most High divorced them. So you only have the 2.5 tribes, which is the southern kingdom, which was known as Judah. 9.5 tribes was known as Israel or Ephraim. And the 2.5 tribes, the southern kingdom, was known as Judah. He's saying, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. That's because Judah during this time bore the name Israel as well as Judah. And we can prove that throughout many texts to show you that although the northern kingdom was separated and not a people during this time, Judah maintained the name Israel. But it's also a couple of ways you can look at this. He's saying, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Depending on how you view Yehoshua, some people view him as the Elohim of the Old Testament, dealing with the patriarchs, the prophets, so forth and so on. So even during that time, Israel as a whole never really showed faith in the Most High. This is why you have the split and then eventually the outcast of the northern kingdom and the dispersion of the southern kingdom. But then it also says that Yehoshua came unto his own and his own received him not. So either way, the lack of faith was shown in Israel. They showed a lack of faith in the Most High by rejecting his prophets despising his covenant. And then when Yehoshua came on the scene, they rejected him. However, when we in Yehoshua's time, we still dealing with the fact that the northern kingdom was no longer a people, and the southern kingdom was scattered into all the kingdoms of the earth during this time as well. So you had Jews who were from Jerusalem that left Jerusalem, went to other places. You had Jews also, because of that they were born in other regions as well. So they grew up under the customs and the names of those other regions, just like today. We were born in America, so we're known as Americans, African Americans. But neither one of those really denote exactly who we are. But these are the names that we go by in today's time because of where we're born here in America. But he said, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. When he came unto his own, which was in Jerusalem, his own received him not. That's not speaking of every single person. You had some who still believed on him, but there were a lot of people who rejected him. Right? He came unto his own received him not. I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Now watch this. I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west. Many. All right. Many shall come from the east and west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. Many shall come from the east and the west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So this is Yehoshua speaking, saying, many shall come from the east and west and shall sit down in the kingdom with the forefathers. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There should be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Is Yehoshua telling us that by many, most people would interpret this as many peoples, other nations, other races, other ethnicities, right? Many shall come from the east and west, right? But the children of the kingdom shall be cast into outer darkness. Who are the children of the kingdom? We know that's talking about the Israelites. The children of the kingdom shall be cast into outer darkness. So on the surface, this looks like Yehoshua was saying that many from the east and west, talking about other races, other ethnicities, right? All races are going to enter into the kingdom, while the children of the kingdom, the Israelites, shall be cast into outer darkness. There should be weeping and gnashing of teeth. On the surface, that's what this looks like this is saying. And oftentimes you might have Christians who will come to this verse as a means to try to establish that point and say, see, Yehoshua was telling you right here, the children of the kingdom going to be cast out into outer darkness, where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's the lake of fire, right? But many, talking about all peoples, all nations, all races, going to come from the east and west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. Right? The children of the kingdom won't enter into the kingdom of heaven, but many will. Let's investigate this a little bit. I want y'all to keep this in mind, this children of the kingdom, and also keep in mind this many coming from the east and the west. All right, let's go. This is Matthew chapter 13, 35. It says, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. Then Yehoshua sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. All right, so now watch this. He answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The good seed. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. All right, remember that. He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. That's Yehoshua. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. All right, so the good seed are the children of the kingdom. But over here, he said the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness, where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth, while many shall come from the east and west and sit down with the patriarchs in the kingdom of heaven, right? But the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that soweth them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. All right, so now this parable that Yehoshua was getting ready to explain to them is basically dealing with the end time, what's going to happen in the end of the world. The Son of Man sowed good seed, which are the children of the kingdom. All right, but the enemy sowed tares. The wicked one sowed the tares. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world. All right, this is the harvest, is the end of the world. And the reapers are the angels. So now the good seed are the children of the kingdom. But right here, remember, he said the children of the kingdom shall be cast into outer darkness, and many shall come from the east and the west. How are these many going to come from the east and the west? We're going to show you that the way that the many are going to come from the east and the west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom is because the Most High is going to send the reapers, which are the angels, to gather them. Let's establish that. This is Matthew 24 and 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Why? Because this is the Lord's day. Right? This is why all the tribes of the earth gonna mourn, because when he returns, he's gonna destroy all the nations of the earth, make an end of all the nations of the earth, but he's gonna save his people. But watch this. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. All right, so this is the end of the world right here that we're looking at. When Mashiach returns, all the tribes of the earth gonna mourn, and he's gonna send his angels to gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Right here, he said the harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. All right, remember that, right? And back here, remember, he said, many shall come from the east and the west, right? From one end of heaven to the other. from the east and the west, and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. All right. Stay with me, because remember, we're establishing whether or not we today as so-called Negroes are heathen or Gentiles by virtue of our birth and being born in these captivities. And this is going to help us move forward in understanding who these epistles that Paul wrote were written to. Were they written to European ethnic Gentiles, or were they written to Israelites born in these regions who were Gentiles by virtue of that? So he's going to send his angel to gather his elect. We know that Israel is his elect, right? Many shall come from the east and the west, and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. All right. His angel shall be sent with the sound of a great trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. And this is at the end of the world, right? The angels, the reapers are the angels. All right, so now let's go into 2nd Esdras, chapter 2, this verse 24. It says, "Abide still, O my people, and take thy rest, for thy quietness still comes." So, O my people, we can say that this is speaking of the Israelites. Now, this is 2nd Esdras. All right. "Abide still, O my people. Nourish thy children, O thou good nurse, and establish their feet. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number." It says, "Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance." So when the time of heaviness and trouble come, it says, "Others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance." Speaking of the Most High's people, oh my people. All right. Now watch this. "The heathen shall envy thee." The heathen shall envy thee. So all these nations are going to be envious of us during this time when the Most High really brings trouble and heaviness and drought and lack. He say they're going to weep and be sorrowful, but you're going to be merry and have abundance. You see all this reparations talk going on. Now you have the states trying to come to a conclusion and agree to it, but they're trying to find ways to include their own people. But something will eventually happen. And when it happens, this is going to be the end result. The other nations or the heathens going to be envious, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith Yahuwah. "My hands shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell." All right, remember this, the heathen. The heathen going to be envious when the Most High works things out in favor of his people. But it's nothing they're going to be able to do about it, because the Most High is going to protect us as well. It says, "Be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee. Remember thy children that sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth, and show mercy unto them, for I am merciful, said Yahuwah Almighty. Embrace thy children until I come and show mercy unto them. For my wells run over, and my grace shall not fail." We're under the grace of the Most High in our time period. The Most High's laws are not to be broken, and we break them every day just by virtue of not being in our land and being subject to our enemies. So he's our constant sacrifice in regards to that. Now watch this. Well, before we go forward, we can conclude that everything we read from verse 24 down to 32 is really speaking of a future time, something to come, because remember, this is second Esdras, and if we go up, it'll let us know the time frame that we're in. All right, the second book of the prophet Esdras, the son of Sariah, son of Azariah, the son of Hilkiah, son of Shalom, the son of Zadok, son of Ahitub, the son of Amariah, son of Azariah, the son of Marioth, son of Zechariah, the son of Uzi, the son of Buki, the son of Abishua, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron of the tribe of Levi. So Esdras was of the tribe of Levi, which was captive in the land of the Medes in the reign of Artaxerxes, king of the Persians. So this is letting us know the time frame that this is written in, all right, or that these events took place. This was during the Medo-Persian captivity. So this was after Daniel had already saw the four beasts that would rise up, and Medo-Persia was the second beast. Greece came after Medo-Persia, and then Rome came after Greece. So these were captivities. Esdras was in captivity during this time when the word of the Most High came to him. He's speaking prophetically, saying that when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. This is the restoration of the kingdom that he's seeing, and the Most High is speaking his word through him, letting them know how the heathen are going to react when this time comes. But keep this in mind, the heathen going to envy you, right? But the Most High going to protect us. And so he's giving us all these promises. Be joyful, O thou mother with thy children. Jerusalem is the mother of us all. Remember? Then it's even talking about those who have passed on, right? The Most High say he's going to bring them up and have mercy toward them. And it says, my grace shall not fail. All right. Now watch this. I, Ezra, received a charge of Yahuwah upon Mount Horeb that I should go unto Israel. But when I came unto them, they sat me at naught and despised the commandment of Yahuwah. So after he received this charge, Ezra went to his own people. This was during the Medo-Persian captivity. It said he received a charge that he should go unto Israel. The northern kingdom is separated at this time and not a people. So the southern kingdom bore the name Israel, as well as Judah, the southern kingdom. They continued the name Israel. So he went unto his people who were with him during that time, which was the southern kingdom Jews. And when he came unto them, they sat him at naught and despised the commandment of Yahuwah. Now, this is prior to Mashiach's time. Remember what he said right here. The children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. Right? But many shall come from the east and west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. All right, so now the children of the kingdom, I, Ezra, received a charge from Yahuwah upon Mount Horeb that I should go unto Israel. But when I came unto them, they sat me at naught and despised the commandment of Yahuwah. So Ezra went to his own people and they rejected him. Now look at his response. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd, right? O ye heathen, because I went to Israel and they set me at naught and despised the commandment. Therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, right? Up here is saying, O my people. Keep all this in mind, O my people. But Ezra went to his own people while under the Medo-Persian captivity, and they rejected him. So now he's saying, unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world. All right. The enemy that sold them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. Right. He is nigh at hand, O you heathen, that shall come in the end of the world. Look to your shepherd, O you heathen. Right. For he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. He shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather his elect. All right. From the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So his elect that these angels are going to gather, they're not in Israel, they're not in Jerusalem, they are in the four winds. Another term is the four winds of heaven, the four corners of the earth. Then it says from one end of heaven to the other. This is where the Most High's elect are. When the angels are going to send to gather them, they're going to be from one end of heaven to the other, right? And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west, from one end of heaven to the other, and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. I know this doesn't say that, but this is a connection with that. This connects with that. The angels are going to gather his elect from one end of heaven to the other. And this is the same place where many are going to come from. How are they going to come? They're going to come because they're going to be gathered by the angels during the harvest, which is at the end of the world. They're going to be gathered from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other, right? They're going to be gathered at the end of the world. And ironically, when we come here, Ezra is saying that his people, and this was during his time, they rejected and set at naught and despised the commandment of Yahweh. So now he's saying unto you, O you heathen, right? Why are you heathen? You're heathen because you're coming from the four winds, or from one end of heaven to the other. You're coming from the east and the west. That's why you're heathen. These are the places you were born. These are the places you were scattered. By virtue of that, you qualify as heathen today. O ye heathen that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, everlasting salvation, world without end. For he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world. The harvest is the end of the world. The reapers are the angels. The angels are gathering together his elect, which are heathen. All right. The elect are the heathen. We're heathen because we're scattered into the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. O ye heathen, right? This was during the Medo-Persian period that he's proclaiming this. So his own people rejected it, and the only heathen that they're around are the Medo-Persians. So is he giving it to them? They're heathen. Why is the Most High saying right here, or why is Ezra saying right here to the heathen that hear and understand, look for your shepherd that shall come at the end of the world, when up here we read that the heathen during the same time when everybody else is in trouble and heaviness and weeping and sorrowful, and we're merry and having abundance, the heathen are envious of us during this same time. These heathen envious of the Most High's people being merry and having abundance. However, he's saying to these heathen, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world. All right. Let's slide over in the same chapter. Let's slide over here to verse 5. Second Ezra, chapter 2, verse 5. It says, as for me, O Father, I call upon thee for a witness over the mother of these children. Jerusalem is the mother of us all, and we're the children. Our ancestors were the children, and we're the children today. But I call upon thee for a witness over the mother of these children, which would not keep my covenant. Right? The mother of the children, right, which would not keep my covenant. What did Mashiach say? He said, the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There should be weeping and gnashing of teeth. How many times did Mashiach cry over Jerusalem during that time? But they wouldn't be delivered. They wouldn't accept him. The ones that did accept him are the ones that listened to him and obeyed his instructions. But the Most High was still merciful toward us. All right. It says, mother of these children, which would not keep my covenant, that thou bring them to confusion, and their mother to a spoil, and that there may be no offspring of them. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant. So bring them to confusion. Let their mother be brought to a spoil. All these things happen. This is talking about when they spoiled and robbed the temple. Bring them to confusion. All right. All of these things happen at a particular time that we're going to read about after this. We're going to show you this exactly when this happened. And how, because of this, now we're in the condition that we're in now today. That thou bring them to confusion and their mother to a spoil, that there may be no offspring of them. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. So we're going to be brought to a confusion. Our land is going to be brought to a spoil. We're going to be scattered abroad among the heathen, and our names are going to be put out of the earth because we despise the Most High's covenant. Now, being scattered among the heathen and having your names put out of the earth would qualify you as being the heathen. You're among the heathen. Your name is taken from you. Your heritage is taken from you. So now you are a heathen. This looks like Psalms 83. It says, keep not thou silence, O Elohim. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Elohim. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. The enemies of the Most High make a tumult, and they that hate thee lifted up the head. If you ask a Christian what this means, they will tell you that this is people who reject Christ. Right? If you reject Christ, you're the enemy, which, that's not a lie. But in this context, he's saying your enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee, who hates the Most High? Those who reject Jesus. Right? We're going to show you who the Most High's enemies are and who are those people that hate the Most High because they have lifted up their head. What else did they do? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Christians will say, well, you look at how they're trying to do away with Christianity. They're not trying to do away with Christianity. They're doing what they've always did with Christianity. They're making it more inclusive. And they're trying to do away with the true biblical values by means of Christianity and religion. But whoever these enemies are people who hate the Most High as well. And they have taken crafty counsel against the Most High's people and consulted against thy hidden ones. All right, let's look at what they did. It says they have said, come, this is what they said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Let's go back to this. 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 7. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant. Let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Let their names be put out of the earth, right? Let them be brought to confusion. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. So whoever these heathen are the enemies of the Most High, and they're the ones who hate the Most High. Let's find out who they are. They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. These enemies are working together. They have a confederacy. They're aligned together for this one purpose of causing the Most High's people to be no more in remembrance. Let's see who they are. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites and Moab and the Hagarenes. These are people. These nations in verse 6 are people, and these are the enemies of the Most High, and these are the ones who hate the Most High. The tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, Edom, your modern day Jews and white people, Moab. Moab is said to be your Orientals, like your Chinese, Vietnamese, and Japanese. Hagarenes, don't know who those are. I'm gonna have to look on my table of nations. You got Gabal, Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines, and the inhabitants of Zoar. Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah. So all of these nations are confederate. They have consulted together with one consent. They have secret meetings. World-renowned people from all these nations come together and meet to figure out how they can conquer their regions and how they can keep certain people under subjection so that they can maintain their wealth and power in the world. People don't understand that they read actual history. They have consulted against the Most High's people, which are the Israelites. They said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So now the people today over there, they don't call themselves Israel or Israelites. They're Israelis, you know, the Ish people, the Jewish people. Revelation said, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not. But all these nations are the enemies of the Most High. All these nations hate the Most High. They've consulted together for the purpose of keeping our people under their subjection. The whole world think that one group of people are the people of the Most High, and all the nations of the world support those people, give these people trillions of dollars every year for them to operate. These same people control every facet of society, from government, politics, education, entertainment, religion, finances, and what we do from day to day socially. They control all of that. They control your products, all your major brands. They control all of that. You're reading history. But notice it says that the heathen shall envy thee. These the same heathens right here that's going to envy us when the Most High elevate us. But down here he's saying, I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand, that shall come at the end of the world. So these heathen going to be delivered at the end of the world. These same heathen are the same ones that's coming from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other, right? They're going to be gathered by the angels at the end of the world. And these are going to be the ones that's going to come from the east and the west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom. But the children of the kingdom, the very ones right here, the children of the kingdom who despise the commandment and set the prophets at naught, the same ones who would not keep the covenant, right? He said, bring them to confusion and their mother to a spoil, that there may be no offspring among them. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen, and let their names, right? So if your name is out of remembrance, what name are you under now? What name do you have? You have the name of the people that you're subject to, classifying or qualifying you as a heathen. That's all of us. Let's go down to 10. It says, thus said Yahweh unto Ezra, tell my people, watch this. Thus said Yahweh unto Ezra, tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. Tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. What people is he talking about? Tell my people that I will. This is going to happen. That I will give them. I'm going to do this. Tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. I would have given this kingdom unto Israel. The Most High would have restored the kingdom during the time of Mashiach if they had received him. That's why he wept for Jerusalem. He said, would I not have gathered you like a mother grabs her chickens under her wings? But you would not. They wouldn't receive the Most High Son that he sent in the earth. They wouldn't receive him. They rejected him, just like they Ezra said, "No, over here." He said, I received a charge of Yahuwah upon Mount Horeb that I should go unto Israel. Right? The same thing. I would have given the kingdom unto Israel. Speaking of Judah during that time. But when I came unto them, they sat me at naught and despised the commandment of Yahuwah. Therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, tell my people, right? Same thing. My people, O ye heathen, that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. I would have given this kingdom unto Israel, but they rejected. So tell my people that I'm going to give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. I would have given it unto them, but they rejected it. So therefore, the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. Those people who rejected Mashiach back then, he said he's going to cast them into outer darkness. These are the children of the kingdom. But the heathen that he's saying, hear and understand and look for your shepherd, these are those who were scattered, his elect. These are the same people, his elect, right? My people, his elect, that's in the four winds, from one end of the earth from one end of heaven to the other. The angels are going to gather these during the harvest at the end of the world, right? Look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand that shall come in the end of the world, right? Let's look at this actually happening. Us being brought into confusion, our land being spoiled, and us having our names taken away from us. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. All right. Wicked men of Israel went and made covenants with these heathen. These ain't the same heathen that is speaking of right here in verse 34, when he's telling the heathen to look for your shepherd. These are the wicked heathen that's going to be jealous. These are the same heathen who robbed the temple, shed innocent blood outside the temple, and robbed and spoiled the temple. It says, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king and gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. So you had a lot of our people who were with this and wanted to do it. They wanted to make a covenant with the heathen and to keep their ordinances. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised. They made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen. They forsook the covenant. They joined themselves to the heathen. They kept all their customs. And it says, and they were sold to do mischief in the eyes of Yahweh. So what does this make them? These was our people. What does this make them? If they went and joined the heathen, they made themselves uncircumcised. They forsook the covenant and joined themselves to the heathen. Let's continue. Verse 20, and after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude. Israel and Jerusalem. But you only got the southern kingdom during this time. It says, and he entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the menorah of light and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crown, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and gold and precious vessels. Also, he took the hidden treasures which he had found. And he went, and when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre, and spoke very proudly. So right here is where you see the our mother coming to a spoil, the temple being spoiled. Right. They robbed the temple, took all the vessels, all the precious things out of the temple. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel, which was Judah and Jerusalem, in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned, and the virgins and the young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom they took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. And the land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. Right? It says, let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth. No, not that part. I want this part. It says, as for me, O Father, I call upon thee for a witness over the mother of these children, which would not keep my covenant, that thou bring them to confusion and their mother to a spoil. All right, that's where he robbed the temple. Excuse me. That there may be no offspring of them. Let them be scattered into the earth among the heathen. This came after, but this came first. That thou bring them to confusion and their mother to a spoil. They spoiled the temple, robbed the temple, and then our people were brought to confusion. The house of Jacob was covered with confusion. All right, let's go here. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his kingdom that all should be one people. So King Antiochus made a decree that all should be one people. This was during the Greek rulership. All right. The Seleucid empires. He said they should all be one people and everyone should leave his law. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea. So all the heathen agreed. Yea, many also of the children of Israel consented to his customs and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. So many of the Israelites consented to these customs, to be one people and to leave the law of the Most High. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange Torah of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary of the holy people, and set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all matter of uncleanness and profanation. So they made their children uncircumcised. They made themselves uncircumcised. They forsook the covenant. So when you get to the New Testament, the epistles, and you see the uncircumcised living in all these Greek areas, now you kind of get an understanding that this ain't talking about ethnic Gentiles or ethnic heathen. This is talking about those of our people who made themselves heathen or were made heathen by virtue of this right here, what we read: forsaking the covenant, being scattered. So when Apostle Paul went out to preach the gospel to the Gentiles, notice who he was speaking to. Notice who these letters were addressed to. It says, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. So this was the overall intent, for our people to forget the laws of the Most High and change the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So it's either forsake your heritage, forsake the law, forsake your names, become one with the heathen, become one people, keep our customs, or die. And a lot of our people chose to go along with it. You continue throughout this record, you see some of our people chose rather to die, but then some of our people chose to fight. They chose to fight back. So the question remains, are we so-called Black people, Negro people today, by virtue of where we're born, where we are, the customs that we keep, the names we have, the fact that the Most High is going to gather us from other nations, are we considered heathen according to the Bible? Not the heathen, not ethnic heathen, but heathen by virtue of where we're born, the fact that we're born outside of our land, outside of our heritage. Does that classify us as heathen today based on what we read? Give it some thought. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section. I want to thank you for your time. Shalom and blessings.
And why am I saying this? I'm saying this to open your mind for the damage that is in the mind of the Black person was crafted, it was designed from the church pulpit. And that is why I also use the church pulpit to address and reverse the damage that is in the minds of Black people. I am calling upon all pastors who are Black pastors to use the pulpit in church to liberate the Black mind, because the Black mind is damaged. Black people are full of self-hate that was designed from people who were standing on a pulpit like I'm standing right now. Apartheid was partnering with the NG Kerk. And for you to tell me I must not talk about Black men-related issues from the church pulpit is a sign of the damage and the destruction that has been caused in your mind by the system that I am addressing right now. So I'm calling upon all pastors. 50% we preach the Bible. 50% of the time
we preach the Bible. 50% of the time, we preach black liberation theology. Because it is our people that have been affected by what Pope Nicholas V started 600 years